Mikayla Jai, welcome to the Life You Love podcast. Yay. I am so excited for this. And I feel like this is also so crazy that you're on our podcast because I've been listening to you since before we started our podcast, which was literally 3 years ago.
Oh my God, it ages me so much. I'm so excited to be here and I'm so excited to get to do this in person. It's so much more fun that way too.
I know, we're literally in LA. If you're watching the video of this, we have the most insane view of the LA skyline right now. This is the cutest studio ever. But I was thinking this morning about when I discovered your podcast, and I literally remember the exact day.
Oh my gosh.
I was in Pittsburgh. It was before I moved to Nashville back in 2023, and I ordered sushi for pickup, and it was a 10-minute drive, and I wanted a podcast to listen to on the way to getting sushi.
Okay.
And I don't know what I searched in Spotify to find you, but at the time you were doing a 3-part series on intro to manifestation or something like that. And before I listened to that, I don't even know if I've heard of the word before I listened to that.
Yeah.
And I remember it completely changing my life. I listened to the whole thing, waiting for my sushi, and I've been a fan ever since. So I'm so excited about this. But okay, let's get into it. I wanted to start this conversation with asking you, both of our podcasts are very centered around living your dream life and building a life you truly love. But on our podcast, we never talk about the concept of manifestation. So I feel for a lot of people listening, this might be their first time hearing about it, or they don't spend a lot of time really thinking about it. What do you think that people get wrong about manifestation?
Everything, all the time. So much. So I always like to start by defining what manifestation actually is. And if you were to look it up on dictionary.com, for example, it's to bring about to the eye. To manifest is to bring about to the eye everything once is a thought, and then we bring it to the eye in our real life, whether that is a car, money in your bank account, or meaning the love of your life. When you're in love, you can also see that on somebody's face. So it's just to bring something into life. But the process is what most people get wrong. Because of The Secret and because of law of attraction, a lot of times people think law of attraction is the same thing as manifestation, and it's not. It's just something that works really well in conjunction with manifesting. And so a lot of people think that they can just meditate and visualize their dream Audi, and then it's just gonna somebody's gonna knock on their door and be like, you got the car, Oprah vibes. And that's just not what it is. Or they think, oh, I'm gonna make this vision board and put I have 1 million followers on it, and then I'm gonna get that. And that's not the process at all. And I think manifestation got really popular during COVID too, because a lot of people started making videos about it on TikTok. And then there was a lot of misinformation. There would be a lot of people talking about you would write something down. I always giggle about this on my podcast. You write down, I want so-and-so to text me. And then you put it under your pillow and you kiss it and whatever. And then you go to sleep and you're supposed to wake up and this person's supposed to have texted you or something. And I'm that's not what manifestation is. That's a fun ritual thing you could do. It's a cute little activity, but that's not manifesting a text from your man. And then people would post these videos talking about that and then showing the results the next day, this guy texting them. But what they would forget to mention is that they would write their little sticky note, put it in their pillowcase, whatever, with their crystal, and then they would go post a thirst trap on their stories. And of course, homeboy is texting you. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with posting your thirst trap. Look good, talk your shit, do your thing. Of course, he should be in your DMs after that. You look good, but they don't talk about the action step piece of it. Her posting, whoever this person is posting that type of story. That was actually your action step, with the intention of somebody texting you, for example. Even if it's subconsciously, right?
I love that example so much. That's so funny. I feel that sums that sums up so much. I'm obsessed with that. Okay, you mentioned The Secret, and then you also mentioned law of attraction.
Yeah.
And for people, I've never read The Secret's a book, right?
Yeah.
I've never read the book, and I also am very unfamiliar with the law of attraction, which I feel most people are. When you got started learning about manifestation, are those the types of things that you were learning about? What was your process learning about it, and then seeing what worked and seeing what didn't, and kind of learning that for yourself, that those types of things were not going to help you manifest your dream life?
Yeah, that's such a good question. Actually, I'm oh my God, back in the day, it's something because I've had my business. August will be 8 years in business, and I was studying manifestation really heavily about 9 months before I started putting together the business. So I've been studying this stuff for over 9 years, oh my God, almost a decade. That's so wild. So I'm you need to know something. I'm your girl. You need to be coming to me, not some other person. Anyways, but when I had first started, I actually had this, like, I call it like a big spiritual awakening, but it was like my first like moment where I like actually became a conscious human being, was like at my rock bottom. And I went and studied abroad. And I remember before I studied abroad, I made a promise to myself, like I wasn't going to gossip. I wasn't going to complain. I wasn't going to be negative the entire time I was in France. And I was there for a summer semester because I was just like, I need to be a different human. Like my life was such a shit show. And I was like, I remember thinking to myself, like something has to change and it has to start with me. Like I remember that so clearly, and nobody around me was talking that way. And I think that's so important. It's like, I didn't have people in my life that were teaching me this. It's fully like from my own deep dives. So when I was on my study abroad trip, I like held myself to that promise and that standard, and it totally changed my mindset. I realized how quickly positive thinking was actually going to help my life. And I looked back on like some of the shittiest years of my life and I was like, oh my God, no wonder it was so bad, because I was so negative. Like that's what I was expecting. I was like, woe is me, victimhood mindset. So when I came back from study abroad, I was like, okay, I'm turning a new leaf. I want to be positive. Like my friends thought I was so fucking annoying. They were like, because they want to like complain and talk shit about people we went to like high school with. And I'm just like, la, la, la. I'm like, it's all good. They look so great. Good for them. Like totally different person. Right. So I get it. They're annoyed. They're like, who is this version of Mikayla? We don't know her. So I actually like lost a couple of friends because I just changed my mindset and they weren't on the same page. So long-winded answer, but when I wasn't spending time with them anymore in college, I started to like really deep dive into mindset work. And I noticed how quickly like journaling and positivity was helping me. And I also decided that I wanted to start a blog and start blogging about my travel experiences. And like, I've always been like the get shit done type of person, which I'm sure we'll talk about. And I was just like, I want to talk about this and like how people can better their lives. They just kind of get their shit together. And I started listening to a couple of podcasts that would talk about like monetizing your blog actually. And for the first time, somebody was like, you have to manifest like your dream business. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what does that mean? What does that mean? And I think if this is so random, I'm pretty sure the first time I heard the term like the universe was from Jenna Kutcher, which is so random. Do you know who that is?
I've heard the name.
She's like a podcaster and online business coach, or she was and a business coach. And she was like one of the OGs in the online space. And she like does not teach mindset or spirituality at all. But I think I was listening to a podcast of hers talking about monetizing your blog. And she was like, you have to trust the universe. And I was like, what is the universe? I'm like, what are we talking about? And so from there, I just got really curious. And so I was deep diving into like, I was searching things on like Google and YouTube. And I was like, what's manifestation? What's manifesting? What is the universe? Like I was really into astrology. So I was like, okay, like how does a Capricorn manifest their dream life? Like just going down any rabbit hole I could. And what I started to find was law of attraction. So that was the first thing I really stumbled upon once I realized what manifestation was, which is really, I call it girly goal setting. It's just like achieving your dreams, bringing about to the eye, deciding what you want and going after it. And then people oftentimes tie it with law of attraction. So law of attraction is just like a universal law that like attracts like. Like we even talked about this, like we attract like certain types of people for different phases of our lives, like people that are on the same wavelength. And that's because we have matching energy for different things. So people were using that to help manifest their dreams and help manifest dream jobs and money and the love of their life, whatever, faster, because it's like, well, let me become the match to that. Like, let me show up with the confidence I already have the job, and then inherently you're way better off at getting that job. So law of attraction is really where it started for me. And it was all like this energetic conversation. But then I was very quickly disappointed by a lot of missed out manifestations because I thought I just need to be in the energy and like journal about these things and make the vision board, and nobody talked about the action piece.
Right. And I feel like when we're having the conversation around energy, I do think that they are like two sides of the same coin, because in order to take the action, you do have to be in the right like energetic state. You have to be on this like high vibe energy of like, yes, I feel so good. I feel so confident. I have so much clarity around what I'm doing. So that inherently makes me want to take so much more action, but it has to be supplemented with the action piece. So, and you said like so much there, and I know so much of your story, but I want other people to know your story. So you studied abroad and then you went back home. You're from Nebraska.
Yes.
So you went back to that environment. I feel like environment is such a big conversation here around like, okay, being really careful around your environment, making sure you're surrounding yourself with the right type of people, what your space looks like, all of that. So what were some of those hurdles almost, and how did you move past them?
Oh my God. the house I lived in Nebraska is something I coined the raccoon house. And a lot of my podcast listeners and clients all know this. Before studying abroad, I lived in this house that had a hole in the ceiling in the kitchen. And one time a raccoon fell through. Luckily, it was a one-time incident. I cannot make this shit up. I literally can't. So this is like when I'm in the rock bottom. I'm like basically living in a trap house. Like it is like a hoarder's trap house. There was no air conditioning in the dead of summer in Nebraska. Like there was no Wi-Fi. I was taking online classes at the time. I would literally have to like drive to Dunkin' Donuts to do my homework. Like it was a time, but it was the raccoon house. We had a hole in the ceiling. A raccoon fell through. My dear mom, she like put up one of those like wardrobe separators where like the hole in the ceiling was. And she's like, if a raccoon falls in, like hopefully it doesn't like come into the kitchen. And I'm like, I don't think that's going to work, babe. But a raccoon never fell in again. It was like the type of home where like the tub's not draining. Like you're in someone's bathwater basically. And so I was so fucking depressed. Like I remember actually that summer was the first time I watched Gossip Girl, and I was watching it on my phone until like 4 a.m. to have something to live for. Literally. It was like, I just knew I was not meant to live a life like that. Like I have always been interested in fashion. I've always loved like makeup, and I've loved bougie things, and I always wanted a Range Rover, and like I always like wanted, like I love designer bags. I studied fashion in college and French, and I was like, why am I here? Like how did this happen? And a lot of that was circumstances that were outside of my control, but it really contributed. So then when I came back from study abroad, and you're plopped right back into the same place basically until I went back to my college campus for the summer, that is where you have the biggest test. Like, are you able to hold this new identity, like this new version of yourself you've become when you're put right back into your old environment? And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with is like, well, I can't go study abroad. I can't go have a Euro summer. I can't go do whatever, right? Based off of people's circumstances. I can't get out of my apartment or whatever is going on right now. And that's where you see like who you're truly made of. For me, it was like, okay, I am living in this disgusting house that like now I know like I can have so much more out of life and I can feel so differently. So for me, one thing I remember thinking was like, well, I just need to make the best of this. Like I've always said, do what you can with what you have. And that was truly my life because I was also broke at the time. And so I was like, okay, well, if I want to elevate things, like that cannot be dictated by my external environment. And this is so important in business too. Like I have this conversation all of the time with clients. It's like we look at, and especially with manifestation, like if there's not an external result going on in your reality, it's so easy to stop believing in yourself. And I knew from the beginning, before I even knew I really wanted to have a business, was like, I can't let this shit house I'm living in right now dictate how I feel about myself and like where my life is going.
I love that so much. I love how you phrased it. Like it's a test to yourself to see if you can hold that identity. This is a conversation that I feel like we have a lot on the podcast about, you know, everyone says move to a new city, right? Because then you're going to be this like new version of yourself. And obviously if you can do it, do it. Right. And if you want to do it. But I do think a lot of times people use that as an excuse for why they're not currently becoming that next level version of themselves or like stepping into that identity that they want to, because they feel like they can't do it until they move. When you're working with clients, do you see those types of things come up a lot? Like what do you think that people think is holding them back, but what is actually the root of like what is holding them back from that?
Yeah, and a lot of times there are situations where people can't just pack up and leave. I think if you really want to, you can always make it happen. Like one of my core things is your excuses are boring. There is always a fucking workaround. Like I am like the epitome of like your excuses are boring. You can literally do anything with your life. You can change everything in a heartbeat. But let's say you're in a situation where you have a kid, you're not with the other parent, you need to be in that city, right? And so then a lot of people think like, oh, well, once my kid graduates high school, they go to college, like then I can go live my life. Or once this happens, then I can go be that person. There's always like a when this, then that. And if that's the case, you will continue to manifest more circumstances that continue to make you wait. Like if you're in waiting energy, you're going to stay there. So this is where the energy piece comes into play with manifestation. It's like, whatever you are in now, that's what you are attracting. Totally, totally, totally. Like if you are a negative person, you're attracting negative things. You're attracting negative people into your reality because that's just what you're noticing. If you are thinking, I have to wait until something falls into place for me to go do something, you're going to keep waiting because you're going to keep seeing things. It's all you're going to notice is ways that you hold yourself back, that you have to keep waiting. Even when we think about fitness, it's like, okay, well, when I feel more confident, then I'll go to the gym. You're not going to feel confident. Going to the gym is what's going to make you feel confident, because even if you don't lose the weight or nothing physically changes yet, you feel good because you're showing up for yourself. And that's something that I talked about a lot with clients. It's like, where are you just keeping yourself in the same cycle because you think something is going to happen that changes your circumstances? Like, you are always the facilitator of change, always. Sure, there are things that happen in life we can't control that put you in a different realm, but most of the time that's not what's going on. It's our own shit. And the thing that is actually going on with clients is that part of them like doesn't want it to happen. Part of them is afraid of making that happen. Part of them is not ready to like muster up the courage to actually make the change, or they don't know if they can hold it. It's always an internal dialogue that's actually occurring.
That is so interesting. One thing that I obviously listen to your podcast every single week. We were talking about it on the way here. I was like, Mikayla's the only person that I'm listening to in the gym. Like, the only person that I'm listening to in the gym. But I listened to one of your episodes a couple weeks ago where you were talking about like the fear of being seen. And I think that that's so interesting when you're saying like it usually is an internal dialogue. Like you're afraid of something inherently, and that's like why you're not even like self-sabotaging, but kind of like you're saying you want one thing, but you're not taking the action that's going to like get you there. And a lot of it could be whether it's a fear of being seen online, or a fear of like selling your offer, or a fear of posting the video, whatever it may be. I do think that that comes up for a lot of people. Like how do you work them through that?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are afraid of being seen because they're not like perfect yet. They're not like the exact person they want to be. And they're like, oh, well, it would be so nice when I live in this like influencer apartment with perfect lighting and my skin has cleared up and I lost 10 pounds and my outfits are cuter, and then I'm going to feel so great to post online. I'm sorry, but you're going to manifest all the money to do that when you start posting online. Like you keep waiting and waiting and waiting because they're afraid to be seen where they're at right now. And the real work that my clients and what I take people through that people need to start doing at that point is self-acceptance for where you are right now. There is so much power in just being fucking real about how you're feeling. It's like, okay, I'm afraid of being seen because I don't like my acne right now. And just being real and stop lying to yourself. People are in the world right now are lying to themselves so fucking much. Like even with the excuses they make, it's like, well, like, I'm not going to start posting because like I'm really busy. It's not because you're busy, because you could take 30 seconds to talk to your phone. Like it's not hard. It's really the fact that you're feeling insecure about something. So the first thing you have to do is be so like radically honest with yourself. Like, if you're not going to be honest with yourself, then you can't take your success as far as you want it to go, because there's always going to be a next lie capping you. So that's something that I have to talk about with clients. I'm like, what's actually going on here? Like, what are you actually feeling that you're not willing to say? And my favorite question to ask clients, like, what are you pretending not to know? Like, you are pretending that like it's not an insecurity. It's like, well, I don't know why I'm not doing this. I don't know why I'm stuck in the same relationship. I don't know why I'm not making more money when I've been doing all this. It's actually, you do know. You're not showing up with confidence. You're not treating your business like all of your offers are the greatest things in sliced bread. Like, you're not showing up in your relationship as the most confident version of yourself. Like, you're just pretending to not know that that's the real issue.
Wait, I love that. And this is something that we were also talking about yesterday, and Mikayla literally checked me on it because I said, I forget what we were talking about, but I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I want. And you were like, no. We don't say that.
God.
You
I was like, no.
know.
Yeah, this was immediately after. Yeah, I'm looking right at the camera now. This is immediately after she told me a whole vision of that's like she does know that she wants to create. It was like this, that, and then this and that. I don't know. I was like, what? Am I being punked? Like, you do know. Yeah. And we have a couple of things I would say in MJ world, like in my podcast, in my community, in my courses, in my in-person events, a couple of things that we don't say. One of them is I don't know, because, and let me just like give the dialogue on this. Like, that started because I would work with so many clients who would have a response like that, or just have a response. I would ask them a question and be like, oh yeah, like I don't know. And every time somebody says that, you're actually discrediting your intuition. Like, especially as women, we're very intuitive. Like, we know what's right and wrong for us. And it doesn't have to be in this like spiritual way, but just in your body. Like, you know what's good for you, what's not. And sometimes when we're looking for clarity, it can feel like, well, I'm not sure, I don't know, but you do. Like, part of you knows. We just have to bring it out of you. We have to be honest with ourselves about what we actually want. We have to be willing to own it. And so every time we say, I don't know, you're just shutting down your intuition. So then why would you be receiving like your next action steps? And why would you be honoring these big dreams you have when you're constantly telling yourself that like you don't know?
Wait, I love this conversation so much, especially because I feel like a lot of the people listening to this podcast are people that, whether they want to increase their income or start a business or start posting on social media, especially in like the topic of manifesting money and career and your big hopes and dreams out of life, this conversation around clarity, I think, comes up so much. And I was listening to your podcast this morning around the topic of confidence versus clarity. And you said, you were like, I don't strive to like feel confident because that's a feeling that's going to ebb and flow. Some days you're going to wake up and you're not going to feel confident, but even in those days, I still have so much clarity and certainty around what I'm doing, and that's what propels me forward. But for the person that's listening to this and they're like, well, I don't have that clarity, I don't have that certainty, I don't know what I want to do, what do you say to that person?
I'd say, tell me everything that you don't want, and then what's the exact opposite? Like, it gets to be that simple, but we overthink everything. It's like, well, I just really don't want to work this job anymore. Okay, so what's the exact opposite? Well, owning my own business. And that's like, what? But I don't know what business. It's like, okay, well, if you could do anything. I always ask clients this, like, in a perfect world, if it was anything, what would it look like? And are you willing to be honest with yourself to answer that question? A lot of people aren't. It's like keep telling themselves they don't know and they don't have clarity, but they do. Because sometimes like it's, okay, I don't want to work this job anymore. Okay, the opposite of that's a business. I don't know what business. Okay, well, if money was no option, if you had 50 million in your investment account, you don't have to work, what would you spend your time doing? Okay, great, it would be this, 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 and that. There's your business. Be a content creator about all those things. Like there's your 5 content pillars.
I am
That's
obsessed
simple.
with that. I love that. I think that's so true that people a lot of times have trouble thinking about their hopes and dreams without the strings attached almost, or without the limits that are in their current reality is what I'm trying to say here. Like, because it is hard. It's like you're used to living your life with those limits attached to everything that you're doing, whether it be like monetary constraints or your environment or whatever it may be. So when people ask like, what do you want to do? They're still thinking about it within the terms of those constraints, but being real with yourself about like, okay, what would it look like if you had none?
Yeah, what would it look like? And you know what comes up is exactly what we just talked about, is like they then lie to themselves that they can't do any of that right now, when in reality it's like they're just not mustering up the courage to like go do it. They say, okay, well, if in a perfect world I don't have to work, okay, great, I'm playing tennis, like maybe you're married to the love of your life, you're in your dream home. Okay, what are you doing with your time? You're writing all day. Maybe it's like writing books, or you just want to write on Substack or whatever that is. So it's like, okay, great. We've got tennis. We've got the man. We are writing. It's like we are traveling the world, whatever. And so then they tell themselves like, oh, well, I don't have the man, or oh, like I don't have a tennis coach, or oh, I don't have. It's like, okay, great. So like, what do you have? Like, what can you go do? Like, can you go just start playing tennis even for like 10 minutes somewhere? If there's like a public park, can you just sit down and start journaling and then start posting on Substack? It's like you actually can always find a way. It's really interesting. And when I sit down with a lot of clients who have businesses or like our content creators, a lot of times it's like we can make this like strategy game plan. We can talk about the practical things, but it's really the mindset behind it. It's like, you know what to do. There's a reason why you're not doing it. And so that's the work that it has to be. It's like, why aren't you doing it? And where we can start to solve this problem is identity. It's always identity. It's being the person that's like, I'm always going to figure it out. I'm always going to find a way. I'm always going to be resourceful with what I have. Like, this is what I'm building, and this is the person I need to be to build it. So let me go do that. But people look at their identity of like, well, I'm just this girl from this small town in this dull apartment with an ugly brown kitchen. And like, I'm not that's your current identity. And it's to your point, like it's hard to see your life beyond the current limitations because you're identifying so deeply with your current limitations. Of course you don't see past it.
Yeah, no, that's so good. How do you think that you balance, or you help people balance clarity and like, certainty around their goals with getting started before you have it all figured out, because that's like such an important piece too. You don't have to know the exact end result. You just have to get started on something, but like balancing, yeah, I have clarity, I have certainty over what I want out of my life, but I still don't have it all figured out, and I'm going to take action anyway.
I literally never have it all figured out. Like
No one
literally,
does.
no one does. Like we've been joking about like training our dogs at 22. It's like we were just fucking winging it. Like so many things. Let me give a personal example. So I'm hosting an event in September. It's going to be incredible and amazing. And I've never done it before. I have sold out so many retreats. I have sold out so many VIP weekends, VIP days, a whole podcast tour, a whole podcast live event. Like so many things in person, but I've never done an event where I have over 120 people in one room at one time, all in the same weekend, like all of it super intense. I've never done that before.
Yeah, and first of all, this event is like 3 days long, okay?
Yeah.
This is not just like a 2-hour little brunch or whatever.
This is a full conference. And when I had the idea, it wasn't even the idea. It was like, I need to do this. And you know why? Because we've been talking about it. You guys don't even want to know the tea. But when I was like, okay, I need to do this, I like took a deep breath and I was like, I have no fucking clue how I'm going to do that. And something that I do all the time when I have a crazy idea, because it happens very often, is like, I'll text my friends and I'll be like, I have no fucking clue how I'm going to do this, but it's going to be epic when I pull it off. That is my identity to a T. Like that is how I view myself. That's how I view everything. Like last year I hosted a retreat that I got a private jet for from one country to the next. Like what the fuck? Like that's insane. And I was like, I have no idea how I'm going to pull this off. But when I do, because I also kept it a surprise. I didn't tell anybody till we're walking on the runway and there's only one plane left in the airport and it's ours. And one of the girls turns and looks at me and she's like, is that our plane? And I was like, literally didn't even say anything. I just shook my head yes. Everyone started screaming, crying and screaming. It was like running. I don't know. It was just chaotic, but it was crazy. It was like, I had no idea. And there are so many points, even with that journey, that like, it really looked like it wasn't going to happen. And it was like, it's epic when you pull it off. So same thing with my event. I'm like, I have no clue what I'm doing. I just have 5 seconds of courage to go do it. And that is always an identity thing. It's how do you view yourself? Do you view yourself as somebody who is incredible, capable? You have achieved amazing things. You have overcome crazy circumstances. And even if the crazy circumstances are just like a toxic ex-boyfriend, that's still a crazy thing that you overcome. Like everybody goes through different levels of trauma. You don't need a raccoon house to like, everybody has overcome shit in their life. It's like, do you see how amazing you are? Do you see how capable you are? A quote that I heard a long time ago was like, you have 100% success rate for all of your bad days. 100% success rate.
I love that.
If you're still here and you're listening to this podcast, you have 100% success rate for every thing you've gone through, all the shit, every bad day, every bad moment, every heartbreak, every problem. Like, you can make it through. So do you believe in yourself or not is the first thing. How capable do you think you are? And if you don't think you're that capable, then we need to have a conversation on self-trust and who you want to be next, right? And we don't even need to look at the past shit. We just need to decide who you're going to be moving forward. And I'm the type of person that like, I'm always going to bet on myself because why would I not? Why would I not have 5 seconds of courage to go do something that's going to be so incredible when I pull it off, that's going to impact so many people, that's going to take my life to a whole nother level. It's going to take my identity to a whole different level because I had to increase my identity. Even when I decided I was going to do the event, I'm like, okay, well, Mikayla who decided to do the event and Mikayla who's running the event are two different people. Like that Mikayla is still incredible and amazing, but we've got to go even more high level. So it's really seeing yourself for how amazing you are. And we aren't really taught that. We're taught that that's selfish. We're taught that that's like, I don't know, you're too obsessed with yourself or you're too self-centered. And it's like, no, you're just an amazing fucking human and you deserve to feel that way about yourself.
I love that. I'm obsessed with that. I love what you said about like the self-trust piece to like take action, not knowing all of the answers. Like you were able to launch your event even though you have not a ton of the details planned out because you have so much self-trust in being like, I know I'm going to figure it out. So yeah, I'm obsessed with that. But back to the conversation around like clarity and like certainty around like your goals and making sure you're taking action, how do you make sure that the actions that you are taking are aligned in like the direction that you want to go? Because I think people say that too. And I know that this is definitely an excuse because I've used this excuse so many times before. They're like, well, I don't want to take action because I don't want to waste time if like that's not what ends up like panning out. What do you say to them?
I don't even believe in that shit. That's what I say. Like, that is like, I'm like, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in wasting time.
Okay.
If you feel like you're wasting time, and this is contradiction, and I'll say this in a minute, but if you feel like you're wasting time, you're just operating out of scarcity. While also at the same time, I told you in the car the other day, I hate wasting time. But it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, I want to be soaking up every single minute. But if you're looking at action step as like, I don't want to do this because if it doesn't work out, then I wasted all that time. You're already in scarcity and then you're probably not going to get there. We're already coming from the wrong mindset. It's got to be like all of it's adding up and it's adding up and it's adding up and it's coming together. And I have a saying, it's like, everything always makes sense in the end. It's like, it's always going to make sense in 6 months or less. So even if you put a lot of energy and time and thought into something and you invest in something, whatever, and it doesn't go how you expected, it's going to make sense in 6 months or less. You're going to learn a lesson in that process that you needed later. You're going to realize, actually true story. I've had this happen so many times in my business where I'll launch something and the launch like flops or like does not go as I expected at all. And I thought this was going to be like the most amazing thing ever. I'm like, this is fucking epic. Like, and then it just fucking flops. And I'm like, that's weird. And I'm the type of person where I'm like, well, I'm just going to keep going. Like, it's not over till I say it's over. And then I like decided it was over. And I was like, okay, that was weird. But literally like 2 months later of a recent time that this happened, I was like, oh yeah, I'm so glad that that didn't work because I actually don't even want to be doing that thing. Like my vision had changed, my identity had changed, my priorities had changed. So I was like, oh yeah, like that's, if I had done that and if I had like sold out that thing, I would have had this really long commitment of something that I don't even want to do anymore. So it always makes sense later. And I just don't look at anything as wasted time because I've had that happen to me so many times. We all have. It's just if you recognize it or you don't, that things pan out the way they're supposed to every single time.
No, that makes sense because I do hear a lot of like you're only a failure if you give up. Like we think about failure based on a timeline that we made up in our heads. Like if you had the launch and then it didn't succeed and you're like, I'm a failure because that one launch didn't pan out. It's like, well, that's not the end because you didn't decide that that was the end. You kept going and then the next one was successful. So at the end you are successful. It's just, if you think about it from like, well, if I start posting on social media and 6 months later, I haven't grown any followers, like I'm a failure. Okay, well, if you're still showing up 7 months later, you're not a failure because you're still working toward that goal. But if you give up, then you're automatically going to be a failure.
Yeah, you're already flopping. Like there's been no point in my business that I was like, I'm failing, I'm done. A lot of people say like they'll have points in entrepreneurship where they're like, I've wanted to quit my business so many times. I don't relate to that at all. I've never had that moment where it's like, this feels like a failure. What am I even doing? Like, I'm going to throw in the towel. I have literally never felt that way. Like, I'm like, okay, well, just on to the next thing. Like, okay, great. What did I learn from this? What worked? What didn't? What are we going to do next time? Like, let's keep going. Let's go build something else. It's not that like something and I'm also a big believer in like yet. Like if it's like, oh, I'm posting content for 6 months and it hasn't happened yet. You haven't gone viral yet. You didn't sign your first client yet. Because I am so locked in, and this is like the certainty piece. Like I know I'm going to get what I want. My success is inevitable. I'm going to reach my goals because I am insane. Like this is another piece of my identity. Like I am literally crazy. I tell everybody this all the time. I talk about it in conversation. I say it about myself. I'm like literally fucking crazy. So like, of course I'm going to get what I want. Like the only person that can stop you from getting what you want is literally yourself. That is it. Because if somebody tells you no, then just go ask another person. Like if a door is shut in my face, I'm going to jump through a window. There's nothing that can stop me because I'm insane. And that's how you always should achieve your goals. Like I was on TikTok before it was cool, when it was just like children dancing. And there would be other content on there and I'd send like funny videos to my friends and be like, I'm not watching this shit. Like I don't have TikTok. I'm not opening up my browser. Like this is so cringe. And I'm like, okay, you're missing out. This is funny. But I was like posting on there like way back in 2019 when nobody cared about it. It was 2020 that it blew up. And like, I didn't go viral until December of 2020. I was posting on TikTok for 2 years before anything got traction over like 300 views. Like maybe one renegade dancing video had 1,000 views. Like that's it. But I never stopped. And that's what people get wrong is they stop 2 feet before the finish line.
I love that so much. And you guys are kind of getting like a little bit of an inside scoop on like our coaching call, not even calls because we're in person, but like our coaching sessions that we've been doing this weekend because we've been talking so much about these types of things. But one thing I said to Mikayla was, you know, a lot of times I feel like the rug is going to be ripped out from underneath me. And Grace and I have talked about this on the podcast before, but like in entrepreneurship or when you are starting a business or creating content or doing anything on your own where you're trying to make it, it's really easy to like have a good week and then have a bad week and then have a good week and then have a bad week. And on the bad weeks, it's so easy to be like, this is it. This is the end. Like everything's done. Like we made it this far, but it's all done. Like I've had that feeling so many times and you gave me such good advice yesterday. You were like, I literally never have that feeling. Like if you do have that feeling, it has nothing to do with the fact that your views are down that week. It has everything to do with what's going on inside.
Always. I've never, ever had that feeling once in my entire business. And you're not the only person that feels that way. You know, like I've had this conversation before with people and it's like, it goes back to the self-trust. You know, we had talked about this too. It's like, when you trust yourself so deeply, like I'm just always going to make it work. I'm always going to make it happen. Like I said this to you yesterday. It's like if all of your accounts like were down and like they deleted all of them, you would know exactly what to do to go rebuild them. And then your people would be like, where the fuck is Aaron? Like they're like searching viciously to find you because they're like, we need, you know, I want to know the 27 money tips. Like what is going on? So they're like searching you up and they're going to find you. And then like if they had friends that followed you, they're like, hey, make sure you follow her new account. Like we also need to like believe in our people in that way too, but that's a whole other conversation. It's like, you would just rebuild it. Like, I think that's why I have no fear for myself. I have no fear for my clients because if the worst were to happen, you would just go and rebuild. And if you could trust that in yourself and like see how incredible you are, see the results, like see the things that we've overcome. I don't know if you've ever had an account that was like hacked. Like I've had my TikTok account hacked and then I like went through all the steps to get it back, but I never had fear. I never was like, I need to start a new one. It's like, well, I just like trust that I'm going to get it back. And then if TikTok comes to me and they're like, there's no way, then I'll say, okay, I'll go make a new one. Like why worry? And I'm somebody who doesn't have a lot of anxiety, period, because I just trust myself so much. Like I'm like painfully type B as we've talked about. So I'm like, I have no anxiety around things because I just know what I'm capable of and I trust myself to just go execute.
I can't wait to implement that.
Yeah.
I can't wait to have that identity. I really can't.
Yes.
Okay, I want to switch gears here a little bit because we were having the conversation around like, okay, if you don't have certainty around what you're doing, if you are kind of in the boat of like, I don't really know what I want to do, like that sort of vibe. But now if you're in the situation where you really do know what you're doing, it's like a good, better, best situation where like things are going well, but I know that they can be better. I know I'm meant for more. You talk a lot about the concept of quantum leaping. Yeah. And I know that you're in like a big phase of this right now, especially you just mentioned your event. What does it mean to have a quantum leap?
A quantum leap means that you are basically catapulting yourself into a completely different life. I really look at it as like, okay, I'm going into a new timeline now. Goodbye. Like into my spaceship. Here we go. Like I'm a crazy person. Like let's do things different. I think a quantum leap is not like, okay, I want to make a change here or, ooh, let's elevate this. It's like ripping off the Band-Aid. Let's fucking go. We're taking it to the next level. I want everything to look completely different. And when I'm thinking about a quantum leap, we can go really sciencey on this because there is science behind a quantum leap and it's really just bursting through to a new energy level. And at a new energy level, you are manifesting so many different things, right? It's like we have the things we have in our life right now, the car you drive, the money you have, the friends you have, the conversation, your energy on a day-to-day basis. It's all based off of the energy field you're in right now. So when you quantum leap, you want to take all of that to the next level. You leap into a new energy. And that sounds very simple and it's extremely challenging, right? It's like, I always say it's either easy or it's simple. Like I don't like using the H word, hard. I don't like using that word. And I use the word challenging. But it's like, it's usually very simple, but it's challenging to actually do it. And so what that looks like when I'm talking with my clients is I kind of have this like bell curve mentality around quantum leaping. At first, you're excited. You're like, we're taking it to the next level. We're blowing up the podcast. I'm going to quadruple my income. I'm going to do an event. Like, you get excited and you're like, okay, let's fucking go. You're like in savage mode. And then you do something. It's like kicked off with an action step. It's me launching my event. It's you recording in studio. It's like something that's like different and like really next level. And then you get into the messy middle, is what I always call it, where it feels like your entire life is up in flames. It's like anything that could go wrong is going wrong. Any problem that could happen is happening. And why that is occurring is because you're being tested to see if you can actually handle this next level thing. Because when I'm deciding, okay, I have to do an event, I need to become a different person because there's so many different problems I'm going to have to anticipate, solve, and move through in the launch of it and putting it together and actually running it. Can you handle that? Can you hold it? If you can't hold the messy middle and everything going wrong in your life and repairing things and fixing it and moving on, then you can't hold that next level manifestation. Then you can't hold the quantum leap because you literally have to become a different person. So the messy middle is where people fuck it up because they're like, oh my God, this wasn't right because all these things are going wrong. This is a sign that I should slow down. Like, oh my gosh, like I'm getting close to burnout. And it's like, they're... The world's quantum leaping, as we were saying, the messy middle.
Yeah, literally, it's like stop the conversation.
The messy middle, you're recording and a fire truck's going by. You can hear everything. It's like, can you handle it and maintain it and not get rocked off your feet? A lot of people would get rocked and so then they stop. They think it's not the right time. They react instead of respond to things, and then the quantum leap just goes back down. Now, when you're successfully quantum leaping, you do your thing, you go through the messy middle, you're like, okay, so the shitty 5 minutes, this is fucking crazy. This is like training camp for the NFL. Okay, I'm training, I know who I need to be. And then there's like the other side of it where it goes downhill. And it's like, okay, now I know, not downhill bad, but like I know how to manage it. Because there's a whole other conversation that has to happen here too about like capacity, but now you've like leveled it out with your schedule. A lot of times when we're quantum leaping, we're thinking about specific areas of our life that we are taking to the next level. And that means your whole schedule needs to change too. So sometimes it feels like I'm really busy and now I'm overwhelmed. Now I have all these tasks and then this and this and that. So then you get through it and you normalize it. And then you're now at that level. Now you're like going to be reaping the rewards of that, or you've done all of the work to continue to get to the quantum leap.
Oh, okay. Very interesting. Okay. So if someone's listening to this and they're like, I want to quantum leap, like I want to become my next level version of myself. Yeah. I want to do all the things. Do you think it starts with the action or with the identity piece? Because I do think that a lot of people would take that as like, okay, well, if I'm going to be that next level version of myself, I need to have a new identity. So maybe they sit and like journal for the next 6 months about like what their identity is.
Don't do that.
Or do you think it starts with like just literally take the action?
It's both, and they also support each other. So I think when you decide like, okay, I'm going to quantum leap. Let's say like I want to quantum leap my social media. I want to be working for myself full time, or I want to double my income. It's like, okay, great. We've decided that. Boom. What's the next thing? And maybe it's introducing a new series on your social media. Maybe it's just shifting the way that you're showing up. Maybe you're posting 3 times a day now instead of half, if you're like maybe not even posting every day, right? Like whatever. So there's the action, but at the same time, in the desire, what you know that you're quantum leaping, there's an identity immediately attached to it. So all you need to do is say like, this is what I'm doing, this is the action step, and this is the person I'm becoming. Like there is no need to sit in your journal for this. You can get specific on absolutely, but you could really look at it. It's like, I'm going to blow up my social media. Like I'm somebody who works full time for myself. Like the identity can be that simple. And so then it's happening at the same time. But then when you take the action, it actually solidifies the identity even more, because you can journal all day. Like I'm a millionaire. I have 1 million followers. Like you can keep telling yourself that. But if you're not taking any action to show for that, you don't even believe yourself. So it's taking the action, knowing the identity, and they continue to reinforce each other.
I love that. I heard one of like the very first things that I heard when I started learning about manifestation was the concept of like acting as if, and that really stuck with me. I think that it's a really like easy and digestible way to think about like the action versus the identity piece, which if you've never heard that before, it's just this idea of like acting as if you're already the person who has the thing. So if you want to be a millionaire, okay, how would you act if you were a millionaire, and how can you act that way today? And a lot of that is going to be, yes, it's the identity piece. Yes, you're going to carry yourself differently and think about yourself differently. But I also do think you show up differently when you would definitely show up differently if you were a millionaire.
Totally.
Same thing with your fitness goals. Like, act as if you're the person that already has the six pack. How would she treat her body? How would she look at herself in the mirror? How would she eat every day? Like, would she prioritize healthy foods? And how can you act as that version of yourself today?
Yeah, that's actually the perfect example that we can plug into this kind of quantum leaping equation. It's like fitness goals. Okay, I want to, let's say it's like, I want to lose 10 pounds and I want to be super ripped. Like my thing all year for like training, and I'm like a crazy fitness person. So all year I'm like, okay, I'm training to be in a thong with an attitude this summer. Like every day I'm in the gym, I'm like thong and an attitude. I'm like doing these Bulgarian split squats wanting to literally die. And I'm like thong and an attitude. Like that is what I've been
feeling that for
Please
sure.
do. I got it from someone on TikTok. She was like, it was like a plate of food, and I'm vegan for everybody listening, but it was like a beef bowl with sweet potato or something, and like cottage cheese. And she's like, see you in a thong with an attitude in 5 months or whatever. And I was like, love that, taking it. That's what I'm thinking all the time. Okay, so you want to be in a thong with an attitude, like you want to look ripped, you want to feel like the hottest version of yourself. Honestly, all of that is just so you feel confident. So we want to quantum leap that. The first action is like, okay, let me go to the gym, and the identity is now I am a gym girl. So they continue to reinforce it. You can keep telling yourself you're a gym girl, but if you're not going to the gym, you're not going to Pilates, you don't believe yourself. Like you're at home eating chips in bed. Like that's not being a gym girl, okay? Like I don't know. Like I don't even snack, so I like couldn't even think of a snack. I'm like, it's okay. So it's the identity action. Like you start going to the gym. The messy middle of that quantum leap is, okay, well, how do I plug these workouts into my schedule? Because it's not just one workout. Now you need a whole fitness plan. How do I plug this into my schedule? Okay, now I'm like really sore. And so now like showing up for work, I'm like extra tired, navigating that. Navigating when you're really tired and you're really sore and you still need to go do your next workout. And so now we've got a mental game of, do I show up? Do I take a rest day because I'm so sore? So now you're battling yourself with that. Now it's like I'm hungry all of the time because your metabolism's completely changing. Well, how do I eat? Now I have to change the way that I eat because the foods I'm eating aren't giving me energy, right? The messy middle is when you're like, oh my God, everything in my reality is actually not supporting me. Oh, normally on your Friday nights, you go out with your friends and you guys drink and you go dancing, whatever, but you have a Saturday morning workout. So it's like, well, how do I balance my friends, my social life, and now this new identity, this quantum leap? That's what the messy middle looks like. It looks like every area of your life becomes a little shaky and a little confusing and needs tweaking because it's a new version of yourself. And if you can navigate that and solve those problems and know, like, I can do this. I also don't have to sacrifice Friday nights with my friends. I'm just going to drink, tequila, soda, lime, and I'm going to have 2, and then I'm going to make sure I go to bed at a decent time so I make my work. Like you find your space if you are willing to do that. And then that's when you hit the part of the bell curve. That's like, okay, you truly are that person now. You've reiterated the action. You've reiterated the identity by showing up, and you've navigated the problems. So you will get the result because now that's who you are.
That is such a good point, that fitness is a really good example of the identity versus the action, because I've talked about this on the podcast before, and I know that we've talked about this, but I've been lifting weights for like 6 years of my life, but I feel like for the last 12 to 18 months, I've just been in a phase of showing up every day and doing the bare minimum when I get there. Like some days literally walking on the treadmill at like 0 incline and 3 speed for like 30 minutes.
It's not a workout.
Like,
I was just telling my husband that. I was like, I was telling him about our Pilates class we went to yesterday. I was like, it was so nice to work out. I was like, I've only done I did a workout on Wednesday, but we didn't work out when we were visiting Florida. And I was like, it was so nice to work out. Like only got in 2 workouts. And he was like, we were walking so much. And I was like, that doesn't count. Yeah. Your step goal is great. You still have it, not a workout. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But what I was going to say was like, I think that that's a good representation of, okay, the action is still there. You're still showing up at the gym, but my identity wasn't rooted in like, okay, I train, I'm an athlete, I am a gym girl. I kind of fell out of that gym girl identity. And that does make it hard to take the aligned action, even though at the surface, it looks like I'm still taking the action. I'm still walking my butt into the gym, but I'm not taking the action that's actually going to move the needle and get me to the next level and like the level that I actually want to be at.
It's so interesting. I talked about this in the challenge that I ran a week ago or so. I talked about how I was kind of each day, there was a different theme, of course, but I was also tying it to like 5 figures. So the first day we tied like 5-figure months. The second day was like 5-figure weeks. And when you're like tapping the 5-figure month frequency, it's like, you got to take yourself seriously and like actually show up and actually play the game. And the shift that relates to this is like, okay, now that you're doing that, even if you're not the 5-figure months yet, but you're implementing that, you're showing up and you're taking it seriously, but you're kind of cooling it because nobody can tell you you're not doing it because it looks like you're doing it. You're going to the gym. The gym can't send you a push notification and be like, haven't seen you. They've seen you, but you're not actually doing it. So it's like, it becomes this comfort zone of I'm showing up. You can't tell me I'm not, but are you actually applying yourself? And that's such a big shift to have. And I even had that realization myself recently. And I did a podcast episode about it. I was like doing these Bulgarian split squats on the Smith machine with like the same weights I'd been using for like a year. And I'm like, what? I don't know. My frontal lobe developed even more in that moment, which is crazy because I'm 28. And I was just like, I don't know, became conscious for a second. I was like, wait, like I could be pushing myself. I could be taking this to the next level. Like I could really like, I'm only seeing about potential. And I'm like, how far can I take this? Like, how good can life get? Like, how amazing can I feel? Like, what's my current maximum capacity for happiness and being energetic and like coming alive and being magnetic? And I was like, what if I like pushed my limits way more with my workouts? And I very quickly realized how much more I could actually do when I wasn't just showing up. It's like, I'm not here to show up. I'm here to go fucking crazy.
I love that. And I think that applies to so many other domains of life too, where you're taking action, but you're not necessarily taking the needle moving action. Mm-hmm. And whether it be because you just want to sit there and like feel busy, or you're avoiding doing the thing that you know you need to do, but you're not actually taking the thing that you need to do. Like when I sit at my computer all day, like planning my content strategy, when what I really need to be doing is just sitting in front of the camera and filming a video.
Just filming. Like even with the planning conversation, like, you know what? People have such a warped sense of productivity nowadays. Like one, we like make these intricate plans, and then it's like that it goes back to like, how do you start showing up when you like kind of like have a vision, but you have no idea like how it's going to happen. Or you're like, I don't even know where to take this. I don't even know where to start. And so they're like, well, let me sit down and make the whole plan. Let me tell you, like for somebody who's been in business for almost 8 years, like nothing ever goes to plan. You might have an idea and it goes kind of to that, but there's always going to be something unexpected. There's always going to be another hoop to jump through. Like one of my friends hosted an event for South by Southwest in like this big garden space. There was like over 1,000 people that registered for this event. And the week before, the fire marshals were like, you need an escape plan in case something catches on fire. And that was not something she anticipated. And she had to like pay to like have somebody put that together, pay to have somebody check it out, and then pay the marshal to like go actually verify. And she was like, I did not expect any of those expenses for a free event that she was hosting. Like there's just things that you can never plan for. And we waste so much time planning to give ourselves a false sense of confidence to go do the thing.
How do you think that people can start taking more aligned action? Because last year when I was listening to your podcast, you would always talk about this idea of taking like one batshit crazy action step per day. Yeah. And I loved that. I loved listening to your podcast during that time.
Yeah.
Can you explain like what you did, or what were some of the action steps that you took that you were like, okay, I was taking aligned action, but they weren't like moving me enough in the right direction to where it's actually going to get me to this next level.
Where I was like actually crazy. I came up with that when I was 25 years old, about to turn 26. And I was like, what would be an epic way to like end my 25th year of life? And it was 5 days before my birthday. And I was like, well, what if I'm 25, the next 5 days, I do something batshit crazy every single day. And I did that, and I had so much energy, and it would like vary. I had like submitted myself for Forbes 30 under 30. Like that was one of them. It was insane. One of the batshit crazy things I did that was maybe more mellow, but it felt batshit to me, is like I had signed up for this mastermind weekend where I didn't know anybody, and I really hadn't gone to networking events in Austin at the time. Like I was like, okay, so I'm going to put myself out there, and that feels batshit. And it was like, I was just doing things. I was like, what would I normally not do? Like what would be, this is the question I ask my clients a lot, like what would be out of character for you, but in alignment with who you're becoming? And I just realized like everything I was doing was like, this feels batshit crazy. Okay, batshit crazy. I'm like, I want everything this year to just feel crazy. And I did that a million times, and I call myself crazy. So I'm like, that the action created the identity, right? And it's just like I ended up taking into kind of the rest of the year, where it was almost something I was doing every single day, and like really got brought into my work. Now my clients bring it up all the time. They're like, I'm gonna do something batshit crazy. I'm gonna start this business. It's gonna be batshit crazy. And it's really got to be something you wouldn't normally do because it just gets you so far out of your comfort zone. And that's a really easy way to start quantum leaping. So I think it's like, you don't need the plan. You just need to think like, the question I'd be asking myself is like, what's the next craziest thing I could possibly do? When I decided to do the events, like, well, what would be the craziest thing I could do at this event? Like, what would be absolutely insane? Because when you're thinking that way, you're already out of your normal. You're already stepping into something completely different. It's like, oh, like what would make the podcast like absolutely crazy amazing? Like, oh, great studio set, great light, whatever. Like, how would my trips be next level? I thought, like, how can I make my retreats next level? Like, what would be every single thing? Like, what would be a crazy version of that?
Yeah, and not even like what would be a crazy thing, but what's one crazy thing I can do today? Because I think that it's easy if you're trying to aim for like bigger and bigger and bigger to be like, okay, that's a project for another time, or like maybe that's something that I'll like work on for a little bit, but it's never going to come out of the drafts and I'm never going to actually publish it. Like, what is one thing that you can do today to get you out of your comfort zone, whether it's applying for Forbes 30 under 30 or like submitting a job application for a job that maybe you don't feel qualified for, or DMing the hiring manager to get onto a networking call, or posting the TikTok video. It's just like, what is the one thing that does get you out of your comfort zone that you can actually take action on today?
100%. And I have an example of something that I did earlier this year. I think it was in January. So I have a goal this year of being a guest on 50 podcasts. And it was something that I decided at the beginning of the year, because at the beginning of my business, I used to be a guest all the time on podcasts, probably for the first like 2 to 3 years. And then I kind of like mellowed out with it because I was just busy working on other things and I didn't make it a priority. And I was like, I miss doing that. Like, I love doing this. Like, I solo host my podcast. I love getting to like have conversations about this stuff. And like, it's amazing getting to like talk to new people that aren't my audience and be like, I have something to say and you probably need to fucking hear it. Like, hello, hi, you need to know who I am. And so anyways, I was like, I want to prioritize that. And so I just set a random goal. I was like 50, that would be a really good goal. And after I did my very first one of the year, one of my clients had reached out to me to have me on her podcast. I actually made a video. It was like afterwards, and I just did a silly little video in my house with an audio. And it was like how I feel finishing my first podcast of the year when my goal is 50. And that felt like kind of batshit crazy because I don't usually, like, I'll talk about things that I want to manifest in my goals, but I don't usually put something out there like that that's like really in progress, mainly because I don't find it super valuable to share with my audience, even though everybody was like obsessed with hearing that. And they're like, what else is on your goal list? Like, it's so funny how we think people don't care about something, but they actually do. They're like, wait, that's so interesting. So it's not something I would normally post. So I was like, let me post about it. Like, I felt so good. I looked cute. My hair looked great that day. I was like, let's just make this video. And I got like 15 requests of people to have me on their podcast just from posting that thing, which I wouldn't have normally posted. And I had like 15 interviews lined up afterwards that I wouldn't have had if I didn't take that batshit crazy action.
I love that. And it felt batshit crazy because you felt like it was still in progress. And I think that that is such a good lesson of like putting things out there when you feel like you are still in progress with it. A lot of people will say that with social media too. They're like, well, what would I talk about? Because I don't have anything that I'm an expert in, or I don't have anything that I'm like kind of that subject matter expert on that topic. But when I started posting on social media, I was definitely in progress, like learning about money and learning about personal finance. I was kind of sharing my journey along the way. I remember I posted a video the very first month that I started on TikTok, and I wanted to share my net worth journey. And my net worth at the time was negative $15,000. And someone commented on it and was like, this girl's talking about money on the internet and her net worth is literally negative. Like, you have negative dollars.
You're like, thanks, I already know.
Yeah, like, okay, it's
just putting myself out there, but
right
thanks.
on the screen.
Yeah.
But like, there is so much value in sharing the journey and sharing your progress with people. I also heard someone, this was a Twitter post, which I like never get
random.
So
Throwback.
random. I don't know where I don't, because I don't even have Twitter on my phone. But someone posted on Twitter, they said, I made it my mission to teach. And like, that made me successful because I picked something that I wanted to learn more about. And me creating this mission to teach forced me to continue learning about it, to be able to have something to teach people every single day, whether it be posting one TikTok video a day or one Twitter post a day or whatever it may be. It's like, if you create that mission to teach, you're naturally going to have to learn so much more about the thing as well. So that can be a way to kind of like share your journey and share your progress too.
Yeah, I think I heard this from somebody, like, the way to become more interesting is be interested. Like, that's how your content's good, how what you talk about is good. Like that's why my podcast like blew up so quickly. Like my podcast like blew up within the first year and a half, like 2 years. And it's because I was so interested and still am. I am so wildly fascinated with mindset. It controls every single aspect of your life all of the time. And I was so interested in manifestation. And like years ago, I would talk more about spirituality. And at the time I was so interested in that. So it was interesting to listen to. Like when I talk about these things, when I talk about like, you need to be relentless, you need to be hungry, you need to be crazy. Like that's because I'm so interested in being that myself. And that's what makes people listen and watch. And I think about the beginning of my journey as well. It was like, I didn't start my business in the raccoon house. I was living in an on-campus apartment at the time, but it like wasn't that cute. It was really dim lighting. Like I would go live on Instagram with only like Christmas lights on. You couldn't even see my face. It's like actually crazy. My very first live stream, like the day I launched my business, I was recording the video on my balcony in my Nebraska apartment. The view was the parking lot. I had my laptop on top of like a little ladder shelf and I was wearing a t-shirt and Nike shorts. My hair was wet. Like it was a hot fucking mess. And like somehow the launch still worked. Like it was so crazy, but I was just so interested in what I was talking about and how I was applying it to my life at that point. Like I hadn't made a lot of money. I had no money. I was wearing Nike shorts and wet hair on a live stream. Like it's not like I was coming out like bougie and well-dressed and put together. Like I didn't even have my nails done, but I was just so passionate about what I was sharing. And it was like, come on this journey. Like, let's go through this together. And we kind of talked about this. Like I see my clients as like, we're so amazing. We're so talented. We all have our thing that we're so good at. Like, let's keep growing. Like, let's I don't want to say hold hands, but it's like, let's like link up and like fucking go the distance. And people are afraid to open up in that way because they're already judging themselves for not being further along.
The tip to be interested is so underrated. I've never heard that before.
I know.
Like, be interested in something, and that will make you so much further ahead in life, I swear. Like,
It's so true.
Be interested in something. How do you balance like being interested, being curious, learning, while also listening to yourself and trusting your own intuition? We were having this conversation literally in the car on the way over here, how Mikayla and I like drive in silence. And we, a lot of times when we're working out, we're in silence and just like kind of alone with our thoughts. How do you balance that? Like, because you obviously do have to consume in order to be interested and curious.
That's a good question. It's like, what's the balance, basically? And I think for me, I am like business, for example, at first was like consuming so much because I'm like, how do I make this business work? How do I make my content better? Like, how do I sell my offers? Like, how do I get people into these programs that are going to change their lives? And so I was like, okay, take all this in, take all this in, take all this in. And then there's a layer where you have a shift. I remember a mindset shift I had to have because there is a point where you feel like you're kind of always missing something when you're in the learner mindset. It's like, okay, well, I'm kind of missing this, so I need to learn that. Like, well, now what am I missing? I want to go to the next level. Clearly what I'm doing is not working, so I'm missing something. And there's a point where that has to stop. I remember thinking that for a really long time in my business, like, oh, I'm missing something, I'm missing something. And then at every new level, there was always something I was missing. And so there's a part of me that doesn't feel good enough when that's the case. And it's because we're constantly like learning new things. So I was like, okay, I'm actually not missing anything. Like, I know what I'm doing and I know who I am and I know what I'm teaching. So I get to trust myself and get to keep implementing that and keep implementing that. And so then the work becomes like, just where am I going? So I think that's where I do it. It's like, I know who I am. I know what I'm doing. I'm so interested in this and I'm going to keep being interested by continuing to take myself to the next level. But it's less from a place of like, I need to keep learning, I think. And I'm always learning. So I'm always reading books and I'm always investing in myself, but it'll be in more niche ways rather than just like, I'm going to consume all of this all of the time. I'm going to listen to podcasts about all the time. It's a lot more specific and intentional, I think.
No, I get that. I think I relate to that in my journey as well, because at the beginning, and this was long before I started posting on social media, I was just genuinely so interested in the topic of money and personal finance and investing. I like loved the concept of financial freedom and building wealth. And I was so interested in it that I was reading so many books and I was listening to so many podcasts and I was learning all of the concepts. And when I started posting on TikTok, I do think I was still in that learning phase. I was still reading books. I was still listening to podcasts. But I also think I went through that shift where I was like, I know the concepts. I don't need to go read another book. Reading another book is not going to tell me anything that I don't know. Now I really need to focus on having that like mission to teach, because I think you learn like different things when you're talking to people about what you're interested in and you're trying to find new ways to teach it to them and to share what you know. I think you start to learn like, okay, what are people's actual relationships with their money, or what are people's relationships with their mindset, and how do they really think about things? And you find better ways to teach them when you're just doing the dang thing instead of sitting there reading books and listening to podcasts.
Yeah, because we almost get in like this self-sabotage zone where we're like acquiring more information and reading more. And then what I see with a lot of people is they'll like learn so many different techniques from so many different people, and then they don't do anything because they're so overwhelmed by the vast amount of information they're intaking. And a lot of my clients will say like, oh, like I follow all of these people, but then I like don't do anything. I'm like, I want you to pick your top 2. Like, I'm like, if I don't make the cut, that sucks. But I'm like, hopefully I do. I'm like, pick your top 2. I'm like, because you're overloading yourself and then you're not implementing. It's like, you need to learn and then you need to implement, and then you need to see, okay, that worked and that didn't work. Like, let me keep doing what's working. Let me go figure out why that didn't work. So then like the learning curve comes from you actually doing things, you know, like at first with you with money, it's like you had to learn how to invest, and now like you know what you're doing and you have your system. So now the learning is like, okay, well now we have the system and it works for this level. What do we do here? And then what are like the tax codes here? And then when do I need to do this with real estate? It's like, then it's just more niche and you're learning in a new way. And that's what keeps it interesting, because there's always a new angle.
I love that. Okay, to wrap us up, I feel like if you're still listening to this podcast at this point, after we just talked for like an hour, you're definitely in the boat of like, no, I want more out of life. I want to increase my income. I want to, whether it be start a business, create content, you just want more, you know, you're meant for more. So I want to ask the question, do you think it's optional to post on social media in 2026?
I'm laughing if you can't hear. No, it's not optional. I mean, it could be if you want to be a loser. I love you so much. If you want to be making more money, like just be on social media. Like it's really so easy, and any excuse you come up with and tell me, I'm going to tell you it's an excuse. Well, I don't want to post my whole life online. You don't have to. I don't. My social media has maybe seen my husband like 4 times.
I don't know what your husband looks like.
Yeah, literally. It's like, I don't want to post my whole life. You don't have to. I don't want to cry on camera to be vulnerable. Please don't do that. Like any excuse you come up with, like, I don't know how to use TikTok Shop. Watch a video. Just like post a video and link something and like see, like anything that would stop you, it's literally just an excuse and like just a way that people are getting in their own way. I don't think it's optional. I think it's only optional if you don't actually want to win. But if you want to win, then you need to be posting on social media and utilizing that. Because even if it's in a career sense, like if I were to hire somebody on my team that wants to come do social media at my event, like I'm going to be going through your social media and seeing like, are you good at creating social media content? Because if you don't have your own portfolio of content, I'm not fucking hiring you. You can show me the clients you're working with and that's great. It's working for them because they've got that it factor, because it's them, even though you might be filming and editing and doing the angles. Like, I want to see what you can do for yourself. So if you want to increase your income and like get more work and make more money and I don't know, be further along, like you should be using social media. It's just a no-brainer.
That's such a good point. It's like, it's almost your digital resume in 2026. Like resumes are kind of non-existent, and literally just post what you do on social media and the opportunities kind of come to you. I feel like we talk a lot on this podcast too about how it's better to treat your social media like the marketing arm of your business, not so much like social media isn't the thing. It's you're marketing the thing through social media, because a lot of people will listen to this and say like, well, not everyone wants to be an influencer. That's not the point. Like a lot of us do have passions and things that we want to teach people, whatever that niche is that you're interested in. And social media is literally just the distribution arm. And it's never been easier to distribute your knowledge to people because social media is free.
100%. We could do a whole other episode on that. Like I have so many thoughts on that too. I have so many opinions on everything all the time. But it's even like I'm not an influencer. I'm a business owner. I'm a business owner and I'm an educator. I use social media to do that, to reach people. Like, sure, I could do it all in person, and I do a lot in person, but I'm going to reach way more people if I'm online. Like, that's just how we're all consuming content, and people need to hear it. You know, I think people are like, well, there's just so many content creators. There's so many people already doing it. It's like, there's really not. There's so few people that are actually fucking going for it, and there's so few people that are doing it consistently. Like, you need to be doing it. People need to hear the message. And if you think, well, there's so many mindset coaches, there's so many creators on this, so many, whatever, people need to see it in a million different ways before it actually clicks and before they find somebody that resonates with them.
I love that. And I do agree that could be an entire separate conversation.
Literally.
I love this conversation too. But if you like these types of conversations, where can people find you?
So I have an incredible podcast, as we mentioned. It's called the Mindset Magic Manifestation Podcast. It is all on all of the platforms. We do video on Spotify. There's video on YouTube. I'm at Mikayla Jai on there. And you can find me at the Mikayla Jai on Instagram and TikTok. And you can find me in person.
Everyone go find Mikayla, because I literally listen to her podcast as soon as the episode drops every single week. Like, you would be in my top 2 for sure.
I'm glad. I'm glad I made the cut. Yay, thank God.
No questions asked. No questions asked. But with that, I think this brings us to the end of today's episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Life You Love podcast. And until next week.